Hi guys, how are you all doing today? I'd like to share some information with you that has been valuable for me in my life, and I think it will help you and benefit you in the future. If you already know the information, then it's just going to help reinforce the information that you have already used in your life. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am a licensed cosmetologist and I've been licensed since 2003. I started school in 2002 and then went on and got my instructor training license. And so I've been in the industry for about 17 years now. I've had the privilege of maintaining a post-secondary nationally accredited school, and then also owning my own for 10 years. And so I would like to just offer some advice. Those who maybe own a salon or work in a salon, things that I've heard, questions I've been asked, and I hope this will help you as it has helped me and helped me to support children and live a decent life, which is what we're all shooting for. First of all, I have three things that I've picked out that I feel has been beneficial to me, and things that I have seen that has hindered ideas that have hurt other people in their business or have kept them stagnant. What I would like to say, stagnant, not growing and or changing their situation. And then eventually that leads to burnout. The worst thing that you can do in this industry is work yourself to death, not charge what you deserve, and then you burn out quickly and you quit and you lose that dream. And I don't want to see that happen to anyone. So first of all, the three main things that we're going to go over is number one is small minds. That doesn't mean that people have small minds. Nobody has a small mind. We all have big minds. It's just some people don't want to grow that mind and experience all that they possibly can and learn all that they possibly can. And they stay in a box, and it could be just because of fear. It could be maybe they don't have the encouragement they need. So I'm hoping that this video will help give that encouragement. So we're going to go over, well, number two, we're going to talk about goals, how to set reasonable goals, why that is important. And also don't set too big of goals to where you're going to get discouraged and never meet your goals. And number three is work smarter. We're going to go over working smarter. I don't want to say the saying is work smarter, not harder, but really it's working smarter, because you're going to work hard regardless of what you do. It's going to be hard work. So number one, don't let yourself fall into the small mind trap. And that small mind trap is thinking that I have to stay where I'm at. If you get out of school and you find a salon and you're working in that salon, some people feel that they have to stay at that salon. And I've also heard some people say, well, if I jump around, I'm going to get a bad name. People won't want to hire me. And in this industry, you actually need to salon shop. That is important to find the right fit for you. And in order to grow, you will end up moving to a different salon. So you're not going to stay at the same salon that you got out of school working at, unless that salon is growing and it's feeding you the information that you need to help you grow as an individual. Then you might decide to stay there. But it is important to keep growing, keep moving, keep changing, keep learning, keep experiencing different techniques. Don't stay stagnant. If you always want to keep changing up, keep your old clients, but get new clients. Keep challenging yourself, new techniques that come out. Don't stay doing the old techniques that you did 15 years ago when you got out of school. And it is expensive to grow that education base, but you're also going to profit what you know. Okay. If you put money into your education, you're going to gain that profit. And one thing that I've found and heard stylists say, for instance, I've offered free educational classes to licensed professionals in the area I'm at. I've had open balayage classes, and the only ones that come is the students. And that's really sad, because for me to call someone and say, hey, I'm having a balayage class, and that person saying, I already know how to do a balayage, that falls into that trap of I'm in a box, not reaching outside that box, learning more techniques. Most stylists know that there are 100 different ways of doing balayages, ombres, foils, highlights, lowlights. There's 100 different patterns you can learn, and only knowing one technique of doing a balayage, you're again going to make yourself stagnant. Those clients that want to change up their hair 5 years down the road will probably end up moving on, because you weren't able to offer them a new look, a new technique, the latest color design that's popular, the new haircut that's out there. So always grow. Don't stay in that box of, I know everything. I don't need to go to classes. I don't need to continue my education because I already know how to do foils. I know how to do a balayage. I can't tell you in 1 week. I probably do, in the past, in 1 week, probably at least 6 or 7 or 8 different types of balayage techniques in 1 week, depending on what your client wants. When they bring you a picture, it's important that you match that picture that your client wants. Now, can you match it 100%? No. But should it match at least 80%? Yes. Now, if they have box color in their hair, obviously that's a totally different story. But being able to match a picture is huge in building a clientele. So knowing those techniques, knowing how to see a picture and figure out what color technique I need to use to match that picture is huge. How do I do that? Well, some of us have creative ability. We're able to just do it naturally. Some of us, we need to learn, and I believe everybody does. Even if you are able to do that naturally, you still need to do classes. And the reason I focus on color is because color is our moneymaker today in the salon. Can you make money off of haircuts? Yeah, but can you make money? Can you be at the point of where you want to be with haircuts? Probably not. So that's why I focus on color. Those extra services that we have to learn, keratin complex treatments, extensions, makeup applications, eyelash extensions, things like that's going to boost you to the next level. So don't be scared and just say, well, I'm going to cut hair and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Because and maybe you're happy. If you're happy where you're at, that's great. But we're talking about wanting to boost monthly goals that you might set for yourself. So don't let yourself get into that trap. Another thing that I call small minds is people that work their butts off because they don't charge anything. And that has to come from confidence. And another thing, in order to charge what you're worth, you have to have the confidence. And that's going to come through also through education, going to classes, learning. The more you know, the more you grow, is that old saying. So to get that confidence you need, you might have to invest as well. And then, so don't work yourself to death doing $10 haircuts. There are some places that does $5, $7 haircuts. And those people are working themselves to death, and they burn out. And I've seen my graduates burn out in 3 months because they go and they're doing $5 haircuts, and they're trying to do 6, 7, 8 an hour just to pay their bills. And it's not okay. You're hurting yourself. And you're worth more than that. Your education is worth more than that. You are worth more than what a student charges for a haircut. Every licensed stylist out there needs to know that. You're worth a $20, $30 haircut, at least. $20 minimum. Because you did go to school. You learned how to properly cut hair, how to keep your public safe, sanitary measures, how to clean properly. That's huge. And you're doing that. So believe in yourself, and don't let clients, also sometimes clients will say they'll mind trick us, and I've had it happen to me, and they'll say, well, I can't afford that, I'm going somewhere else. And they do it even in schools. I can't tell you how many times I have heard people complain about our color pricing, which an all over color is $25. Come on, people, is that seriously too much? No. But they do it to us. So if you think that lowering your prices is going to get you more clients, that's not true. And again, you're going to work yourself to death, and you're worth more than that. And I have something that I can give you an example. So my son, he is a videographer, and he graduated recently with his associate's degree, and he's going on with his bachelor's, and he has done a ton of education. He's done internships. He's worked very hard for many years, all through high school. He started an internship his freshman year of high school and stayed with them for, I think, 4 years, or through high school anyway. And I think he still works for him part-time at a TV business. And anyway, so I told my son his prices. He was charging the same. And I said, Chase, you are a college graduate now. You are doing, your work is professional, period. It is amazing. You can charge what you want to charge. The only thing that is hindering you is your confidence. So he said, yeah, you're right, Mom. I'm going to raise my prices. And I told him, I said, Chase, you're worth more than it's hard work. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. We just see somebody with a camera. We don't realize, videographers, they work their butts off, and it is physically demanding, carrying all that equipment. He has a whole car full of equipment he brings. It's a full day. It's like getting there in the morning and not leaving till late at night. And then they call anybody that works in the wedding industry, they call the next day a wedding hangover, because they literally feel like they just ran a marathon. And it's not easy. And so it's not okay not to charge what you're worth in any creative industry, any type of beauty industry or freelance industry, you know, if you have continued your education, then charge what you're worth. If you have, like, if you just, hey, I'm going to do hair, and then you start doing hair in your kitchen and you don't have a license, then no, you can't charge because you're not a licensed professional. I'm talking about people that have put the time, money, effort. Education is expensive no matter what you do. I do a lot of education classes in Chicago, and I've been all over the United States for classes, and it's expensive. And I've put a lot of money into my education. So again, if you've done that, you should have confidence. And confidence, again, is not arrogance. Those are confused. So remember, arrogance is not okay because you don't know everything. And if you think you do, that's when you're going to fall. But confidence is just believing in yourself and knowing that you are worth, and you shouldn't be taken advantage of. So what happened was he ended up raising his prices, and he's actually busier now than he's ever been. So it's the same thing with stylists. We do get in that, I'm going to lose all my clientele. Well, guess what? You're going to get new clientele that will appreciate you and pay you what you're worth and not take advantage of you. So then, again, so don't stay stagnant. It's okay to find the right salon that fits you. If you have to salon hop, if you've been at a salon for a couple years and you're just not getting fed, now if you booth rent, it's up to you. You have to motivate yourself. You have to pay to go to classes. If you own your own salon and you have stylists working for you, then that's your job. And you have to do that for your stylists and keep them motivated, keep them educated and growing. And then number 2, goal setting. I'd like to say when you set goals, make sure that don't look at it as a dream. Look at it as something that you really can accomplish, and make sure that it's something that isn't over the top. So let's say that you want to own $1 million salon, or you want revenues of 1.5 million. That's your goal. If you're already bringing in 500,000, is that a reasonable goal? Yeah, you can reach that goal. If you're bringing in 50,000 a year, is that a reasonable goal? Probably not. So you might want to say, okay, I'd like to have $100,000 salon. Start there, work your way up. So set reasonable goals that you can reach. Another thing is, if you reach your goal, then move on. You've reached your goal. Don't stay stagnant as well, because again, that's when depression sets in and you get down on yourself, and you're like, well, now what am I going to do with my life? So it's okay to move on. Maybe you don't want to have your salon anymore. Maybe you want to work for a bigger salon. Maybe you want to move to a big city and work at $1 million salon. Or maybe you want to own your own school. I mean, there's so many things. Maybe you want to be a platform artist. Maybe you want to work for a product company and educate and travel. Once you reach a goal, set a new goal and just keep dreaming for that. Maybe it's just to bring more income in for your salon. If the more money you make, the more you can give, is the way I look at it. The more you can give to the people that help you and help you build your business, the more money you can pay them, more commission, more bonuses, more trips. So it's worth it. It's worth working your butt off, setting high goals for your team, so that everybody can grow. It's not about you. So don't look at it as, $1 million, that's so much. If I have $1 million business, I'm being greedy. I don't need that much. Well, guess what? That's not going to you. And even though those of you that have a business, we all know the difference between there's your gross profit. And so just because your salon is bringing in $1 million, you're not going to take that home. And that's another thing that people get confused about. And they don't see that. They don't realize, they think, I'm working for this person. I'm working for this salon and they're, making all this money and I'm making 30,000 a year. This is ridiculous. Well, no, it's not, because when you work somewhere, that needs to be your business. You need to take that place as, this is my business. Take ownership. I've not been able to find an employee like that. I mean, I have recently, but it's taken many years to find somebody that looks at a business as, this isn't just a paycheck. And look at that as, well, if I do this, I'm growing this business. I'm helping the owners grow. Therefore, I'm going to get a raise. It's going to help me in the future. So look at it that way. The more you work for your salon, the more people that you bring in, the more retail that you sell, then you're not only helping you, but you're helping that business grow. You're helping them to maintain, to where they don't go out of business. Every business owner needs the people that work for them. And if you work somewhere where you're not getting, maybe you are working really hard, but you don't feel like you're getting raises or you're not getting appreciated, then talk to the owner. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe sales, there's been no growth in sales and sales have been declining. And those are things that you guys have to talk about. You have to tell the people that work for you what's going on. You have to be honest with them. And I don't believe in hiding things, because they need to know. They need to know, hey, sales are down right now. And if we don't pick it up, you're not going to be out of a job. So what are we going to do as a team to help build our sales? What are ideas? Have staff meetings and collaborative thinking. It shouldn't lay on just the business owner. And I do believe that business owners need to, in order to maintain a good staff for a long time, you need to make them feel like they are part of the business and they can make decisions, and that you listen to their ideas and you follow through with their ideas. And if you have an employee like that, they're a gem, let me tell you, because they're hard to find. Somebody that takes ownership and wants to give you ideas and say, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Don't push them away. Don't say, okay, yeah, I'll think about it, because there's a lot of business owners out there that are doing it by themselves, and they would give anything to have somebody that gives that much to your business and loves your business that much, that they're willing to think about ideas and things like that will help grow. And everybody will help grow together. So, we're going to talk about working smarter. Working smarter. Again, a lot of that goes back to, don't work yourself to death by not charging anything. Take pride in your work. The more pride that you take in your work, also the more you can charge. If you're doing really quality work, but can you do quality work in 15 minutes, 30 minutes? No. So, your colors, yeah, they're going to take longer, but that's why you need to charge more as well, because you're trying to do a good job. You don't want your client leaving with an inch of new growth and it's like, oh, you should be coming in for a touch up and you're leaving with it looking like you need a touch up. So, take your time, do a good job, you're another thing is you will maintain people that appreciate the time that you're taking. So we're going to talk about the business side of it, because you would be surprised how many booth runners and just people that own salon that don't know what their monthly sales are. They have no clue how much money they're bringing in. They don't know how much they're spending on product. It's crazy. Like, I am just blown away. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I would be like terrified. I would be really nervous. So if you're in charge of the business part of your business or your salon or whatever you own, those are things that you need to know. If you don't know how to do that, then I would suggest getting an accountant if you can afford it, because they're going to help you with all of that side of it. But it's really important to know if your business is growing or if it's losing money yearly. If it's losing money, then why are you keeping it open? That's something that you need to think about. If you don't know what those numbers are, you're not going to know. You're just going to be going along every day and you won't know if you're losing money or not. So that's important. Whenever I teach salon business, I go through this with my students. So hopefully they listen to me, and hopefully when they get into a salon or they're doing booth rent, they use what I've taught them, because again, this helps you and it will help grow you to the next level if you're keeping track of your numbers. Obviously, if you booth rent, having an accountant is not going to be that. You're going to have to do that on your own, I would say, unless you're just bringing in a ton of money. A P&L statement, which means profit and loss statement. This is what you should be doing for your business, figuring out, are you profiting? Are you losing? Where are you losing? Maybe you're profiting in your salon business, but your retail sales, you have a loss. So what that means is you spent more money on retail than what you are profiting. So maybe, and I don't know, that's hard. That the way that would happen is if you are giving a lot of shampoos out for free. Maybe you're doing haircut. Maybe you're saying, hey, I have this special. If you come in, get a color with me, you'll get a shampoo and conditioner for free. And you're not keeping track of those numbers. And then you're actually losing a lot of money. You're losing profit with your retail. Maybe you're giving it out to your stylists as retail competition. Hey, you're going to win this basket of retail. Maybe you're doing that every month. Therefore, it's causing your sales to go at a loss. And that's great things to do if you can afford it, if you have enough retail sales to offset that. So you want to see what your monthly retail sales are and figure out how much do my stylists need to sell so that I can buy or have the money to buy a beautiful big basket of retail to give away for free. That to where I'm not going to go in the hole. I'm not going to hurt my business. I'm not going to go under because I'm giving out free stuff all the time. So then you know what you need to set your number at. Okay, so if each stylist sells this much, then that will cover the cost of the prize. Um, you know, that's, very important. Another thing is maybe you're um, changing your trading services. A lot of some smaller salons do this, or maybe you're a runner and you're trading out services. So, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're not going in the hole. Maybe you're doing your neighbor's haircut and he's mowing your grass for you. You want to make sure that that's not cutting into your profit to where, you know, it's okay to do that for a few people, but you can't do it for everyone, because then how are you going to pay your booth rent? How are you going to maintain your license, your renter's license, your merchant license? If you sell retail, you have to have a merchant license. You can't just sell retail, because then you're paying taxes. You're double paying taxes. You're paying taxes and your client's paying taxes. So you have to have a merchant license. And there's several people that don't. They don't think about that. They buy retail from State Beauty Supply, wherever, Salon Service Group. They buy it off the shelf because it is convenient, and then they're paying tax, and then they sell that retail to their client, and their client pays tax. So those are things, again, that can hurt you. If why would you do that when you don't have to pay tax on retail with a merchant license? That tax is passed on to the client. And then, so your financial statement, that's going to show your revenue and expenses during a particular period. So you might choose to do that monthly, quarterly. Most businesses are going to do it monthly. If you're a smaller entity, or if you're booth rental, I would say quarterly. And then you're going to look at that annually. So start out monthly. We do monthly, quarterly, and annually. So we have to do all of it because we're regulated by the government 4 times a year, and audited and all that good stuff. Every nationally accredited school is. It's, we have like 2 or 3 audits a year, and we had our audit and the students were freaking out because they thought something was wrong. And we're like, guys, we go through this every year, like 2 or 3 times. This is normal. It's not, they're like thinking that something's wrong, which that's the way, how drama is. But if you're a nationally accredited school, you just have to go through that. A salon might never have to go through an audit. And if you don't, that's great, because they're no fun, let me tell you. And then, so anyway, are you captivating your sales? Are you doing that? Are you doing it quarterly? Yearly, that's pretty scary if you're not because how are you going to pay your bills, really? So what are your profit? What are your losses? There's three steps to calculate your net income, okay, your net profit. And number 1, you're going to determine the net income by subtracting the total expenses from the revenue, okay? So your revenue, that's what you bring in. So weekly, you might have we do a spreadsheet on what we bring in weekly, what our weekly profit, and what our expenses are, and then you subtract. So what do you bring in weekly? So think about that. If you bring in $1,000, what are your expenses? So another problem I've seen is some stylists they'll take what they bring in and they spend that. They don't think about what they're what their expenses are. What are you, so like you might set a color price. What you might just set a color price. Like you're not even thinking, okay, what am I spending on this color? So some will have a set color price for every single client. So it doesn't matter if they have really long hair, short hair. Is this going to be profitable? No. If you have let's say you have a set price of $80 for a highlight, and you have a client that walks in with hair down to the middle of their back and it's thick, and you use 4 tubes of color on that client versus a client that walks in with really short hair and you use a half a tube. Okay, is it fair to charge the client that you used a half a tube on the same as the client you used 4 tubes on? That's not ethically, I don't feel that is right, in my opinion. Now, if you do that, I'm not going to say it's wrong, because but for me personally, I can't do that ethically. I just can't. So most salons have like a sliding price scale for color, and that's another reason why you can't give a set price on a color without seeing a client, because you really don't know how much color you're going to use. So most salons will do it by how many bowls you use, how many tubes you use. It's $20 for an extra bowl. Some do 15 for an extra bowl. Some do 10. I know the school does 10 for an extra bowl. Our school does 7. But you have to figure out, that is going to keep you from going under with your colors. Okay, because if your base price is, you figured that with 1 tube of color, but yet you've used 4 or 5 tubes of color, and we use Alpha Parf Milano. Well, that's one of the most expensive colors out there. And I mean, for 1 tube of color is $8 or $9. So if you look at, okay, if I'm counting my peroxide, shampoo, conditioner, my water, my electric bill, let's just figure $15 per application that your expense, and that's using a good color line. And you've gone through, let's say you've gone through 4 of them, your expenses are $60 for that one color. Okay, and let's say that you say, hey, I'm gonna cut you a deal. If you come in, I'll do this highlight for $50. You're in the whole $60, and you're not, and you haven't really thought. That's why it's important that we think those things out, and we don't just quote prices and not figure math wise, what do I have going on here? How many colors does the client want? 3 or 4 different colors? Do they want, that makes the price go up. So that's another thing that will hurt us, is not, just charging one price. Oh, my balayages are $60, and not having a different, depending on